So we're recording. Uh, some of you are new. What's up, Philip? Good to see you. So I like to usually start with the everybody that's new. Um, if you can like introduce yourself, if you don't mind, you can text in the chat, or you can request to speak on stage. Maybe tell us a little bit about yourself, what your current experiences. If you have zero experience, that don't worry about that. I just want to know what your current experiences and what brought you here to the event. So it doesn't matter who goes first. Edie and uh, who else would be you, Suka, and you name it. So you four.
Hello, I'm
Alright.
Supta. I'm an international student at Cal State East Bay. I'm majoring in computer science. Actually, I'm attending this meetup because it's part of our one of our classes. So it's part of our assignment to like attend one of the meetups and then um, create like present have a presentation on it and like discuss on what was done in the meetup and stuff like that.
Okay, that's pretty cool. That's not the first time I've heard that. So like I've heard that before from other people that were college students. They've come and they said they had the same type of assignment. That's interesting because at the university I attend, it's they put that as an extra credit assignment in our how do you say that in our assignments for the class on our Canvas. So like they'll have all the mandatory assignments and they just call it extra credit if we attend an event. Is that like
Oh
similar?
yeah,
Yeah.
but this is not for extra credit. It is a
Okay.
mandatory assignment.
Oh, all right.
Um, so it's like a part of our individual assignment. So that we have to do, and we have to like actually speak to one of you and like ask you guys a few questions and like get to know more about you, like where you work and what you do. So I wanted to know like when would be the right time to like ask you this.
Let's do it right now so you can get your credit for your school. I don't mind. And then I'm recording right now, so we can post it. Well, we're gonna post the recording on YouTube anyway. So yeah, you can ask right now
Okay.
if you want.
So wanted to know like what's your name and then where do you work?
All right. So my name is Fernando Trejo. I work at my startup, Dark Mode Devs. So like I started this startup last year, and I've been doing it since. Let me get you the link to the YouTube channel.
Okay.
But we do have a YouTube channel that we just started, so it's not a lot of content, but we are making more content to put on there. But we do like we have our own projects that we're building that are, I guess you could say secret for a reason. And then we have um, we've had we're looking for clients like in town maybe to build projects for, and then we have a mentorship program where we teach full stack JavaScript development. And I've been doing this for like, yeah, about a year now since I started this company. And then other than that, I'm getting ready to go into my senior year at the university I attend, and then I'm also a coding bootcamp graduate. So I graduated from New Camp Coding Bootcamp, their full stack web and mobile development program. And that was actually like my first where I started like years ago. That's where I started. I tried to do the self-taught path. It didn't quite work out, so I looked for direction, went to New Camp, and then in the middle of doing New Camp's program, I started the university, and it's been quite a journey. And I just wanted to start my own. I've also did 8 months at an apprenticeship, and then I might be doing another 4 months this summer at another apprenticeship. So and it all is related to JavaScript development. The one this summer would be a full stack React developer. So like that's just what's going on with me. Any other questions?
Yeah, so I have to like ask you two questions, like related to coding and stuff like that, because it's a part of our engagement activity. So, my first question would be like, how important is the coding that we learn right now, and how will it be useful in the IT sector when we go for like real jobs?
That's like, yeah, pretty broad. But like I say, like it's like super important. Like anybody that's capable anyway. So like if your mind is capable of wrapping, your head around those concepts and being able to really, really have a solid understanding of it and continuing to learn it, because if as you already heard, it's like a lifelong. You're going to be a lifelong learner, so you're never going to stop learning. You have to stay up to date constantly. But like I would say, if you love it already and that's what you want to do, it's super important because it feels like that's the direction everything's going. Where even these no-code platforms, even if the no-code movement takes off, you still have developers that develop the no-code platforms. You know what I mean? So like, or when
Yeah.
AI is taking off, and they need developers for that. You need developers for everything nowadays. So like, I think it's like really, really, really important. And then people have their own ideas. So it depends on the type of person you are. If you're the type of person that is entrepreneurial at heart, then why not start something, start a startup, try it, try it out. You know what I mean? Maybe you can bring something new into the world. For other people that ain't that creative or not really entrepreneurs or just don't have that ability, they're usually comfortable working for a company somewhere, and that's fine too. And I think you just got to find your place. But like, there's gonna be, I think it's really important. Like for me, but I'm biased. I mean, there are other people that are
Okay.
more experienced. Like there's one other person here that is more experienced than me, and that is Lou.
Mm-hmm.
So Lou's here. He's got like, I believe he said 26 years of experience as a software engineer. And so like, even like if we invite him, if he would like to, just to like give you an example on, uh, maybe he would have a different perspective, maybe the same, but I feel like it's very, very important.
Okay.
But we're all biased,
Um,
maybe because we're all either engineers or getting into engineering, so we're all
yes.
biased.
Yeah. So and the other question that I had was like, what is the one thing that we should keep in mind that is, common to all
What do you want
programming
to know?
languages?
What was that, Lou?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you, Lou. Go ahead, whatever you're trying to say.
My microphone on?
Yeah, yeah, it's on. Yeah, we can hear you, but I don't know if you can hear us. Oh, maybe he was having an issue. All right, so what was that,
Yeah.
Sika?
Yeah, so the second question that I had was, which is the one thing we should keep in mind that is common to all programming languages?
Like the concepts. So all the programming languages, they're all just different syntactically. So like the syntax, but the concepts, software engineering concepts, or the concepts that you learn when you're really picking apart a programming language, they're all similar. So, I mean, they all have loops. They all have
Okay.
methods of storages. They all have data structures. They all have things in common no matter what. It's just syntax that's different. There are little other differences, little nuances from one language to another, but besides that, I would say those concepts. So like, if you really learn the concepts really good, um,
Mhm.
all it is when you transition from one programming language to another, other than learning maybe its little nuances, because like C++ is a beast compared to like JavaScript or Python. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, but the concepts are still there that are across all those languages. So you can, like, you're gonna carry that. It's gonna be easier to learn one language to the other, if you really,
Mhm.
really have a solid understanding of those concepts.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. And I wanted to know, like, so what exactly are we gonna do in like today's workshop?
Um,
If you could just give us like a brief of it.
Yeah, so like we usually have everybody that's new introduce themselves, and then I do like just introduce you to the project that we're doing and see if maybe you
Mhm.
have any I try to give like an update like where the project's currently at from from this week, from last week, or weeks prior, and then anybody that's interested in the project, they can join it, and then we try to just move forward from there. Um,
Okay. So what is like the project based on?
It's supposed to be an AI. We called it AI Health Project at first. It's just a generic name, but we haven't like came up with an official name yet. But the
Mhm.
it basically was to use AI to, when people take pictures on their phone of like maybe food product like nutritional labels, things like that, the AI would parse that text off the label and then give them some type of feedback regarding the ingredients, the regarding whatever it parses from that label, whether it's good, bad, things like that. Um,
Oh, okay.
so like that's what
Yeah.
we're doing, and then
Mhm.
along the way we found a competitor that put the same idea out before we did. So it's kind of
Oh, okay.
interesting. Yeah, it's kind of interesting journey, but we're still gonna push forward with it, like for educational purposes, I guess.
Mhm.
Maybe at some point we could try to compete, but uh, yeah, we'll go over all that information during the meeting.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
All right, so we got M wanted to speak. Sorry, I'm calling you M. It's because my computer's in streamer mode and it's truncating your name, so I just see M. That's it. So if you want to introduce yourself, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to nobody. So if I call you by one letter, it's because your name's being truncated right now. So just help me out on that. All right, M, go ahead, go for it.
Yeah, it's no problem. Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes.
My name is Meera Kumar. I joined this call to, just get to know more about develop my skills on full stack development. I hope it is useful. And then you told us about you have developed a tutorial on JavaScript development.
Oh yeah, I'm working on a YouTube channel. We're gonna have eventually we want to have tutorials and things like that on there. So like we just started the YouTube channel. So on that on it's kind of like something I'm trying to do on whatever spare time I have because I'm like uh what I mean, I'm like full time at the university and full time doing and then I spend a lot of time doing working on my company and it's just whenever I can squeeze in any time, that's when I'm trying to work on these videos and its content. But I haven't uploaded any new videos besides our meetings yet because I'm still trying
Right.
to get a balance on the concepts. So like, um, but we will because we want to isolate concepts for people that are trying to learn. Because I've gotten feedback from other people that, like people in my mentorship program that I'm mentoring, they've told me that when I really isolate a concept for them, it helps them more than anything. So like I've noticed that a lot, people struggle with a concept in programming and I try to literally show them how to tear it apart, like how to isolate it and tear it apart. And if I have to, I'll tear it apart into sub problems or we'll rebuild something from scratch if we have to, just to try to help people learn, wrap their mind around the concept, how it's working, things like that. But yeah, we're gonna be getting some stuff up. I'm just trying to figure out at what level I should be making those recordings.
Cool. Thank you. Can't wait to see.
Sorry, Dave, just a quick question. So this is being recorded, right? So
Yes.
is it gonna be posted somewhere, like on YouTube or something like
Yeah,
that?
it's gonna be posted on the Dark Mode Devs YouTube channel. I left the link in the chat, so like you guys can
Yeah,
check
I
it
did
out.
know that.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and
Okay, thank you so
just bear
much.
with me. Like it's been a little bit tough for me these last few months because someone rear-ended my car and I've had a concussion, so I've had post-concussion symptoms. But I've been pushing through anyway, so it's been just a little bit tough on me, but I'm getting better. Like I don't want you guys worrying about my health, but I'm getting better, and that's so have been slow the last few months, the last couple of months or so.
Okay, yeah. So when would this this recording be put up on the channel?
I'm probably gonna put it up definitely today or tomorrow. I try to put it up right away if I can.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah, oh yeah, and if you subscribe to the channel, I mean, if you guys want to give me some likes and subscribes, that'd be great. But if you subscribe to the channel, it'll alert you when the video posts.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, Philip. Yeah, that's what happened with me lately. So Philip, I know personally. I met Philip. Philip's cool. Philip's a good guy. Um, and then he did a internship with us for a little bit, and we still haven't really technically let him go. So we're just trying to get a balance on things and see where I can kind of expand on that. But I'm trying to figure out for what project or projects. All right, so we have uh, um, Amar. So sorry, Amar, I didn't mean to skip you. You said what is the tech stack I'm using? So me, I am like because I am running my own company, I can use any tech stack I want. So uh, of course, if I still have the interview coming up next, or actually, yeah, next this week. Yeah, this later on this week, I believe. I have an interview coming up with that apprenticeship for full stack React development, and then I'm going to learn more about the tech stack there. But uh, it's going to involve, of course, JavaScript frameworks, or JavaScript in general, if I say it in a general sense, but it's going to be like JavaScript front end and back end, but also it's going to involve some Python and Python technologies on the back end too. So it's going to be like a more up-to-date tech stack that I'm learning during that 4 months. It'll be like, well, not really that React just had version 19 released, but it'll be React on the front end. That's what they said. Primarily, it's going to stay React on the front end. We're going to be doing a lot of data structures, algorithms, and big O analysis there. So like I have to be, up to par on that. And then we're going to be doing, you're always doing problem solving, of course, but like then we're going to be doing on the back end, we're going to be doing Node.js, Express, and Python and Django. So we're going to be working on, I think, different projects that have these slightly different tech stacks involved on the back end. And so I'm hoping that I get the opportunity, that 4 month opportunity, so that way I can see what else I can learn. Like, um, besides, you know what I mean, I'm always open to learning more, but at the same time it's going to throw a wrench because it's 4 months full time. It'll throw a wrench in my company a little bit, but not too bad, hopefully, because I'm still going to find some time for it to keep it moving. All right, so but you got to take the opportunity where you can get the opportunity, especially these learning opportunities while you're a student. So that's what I'm up to, Amar. I can basically use whatever tech stack I want. So like if I see a project and I feel like this tech stack is more appropriate for it, or this tech stack might be overkill for it, I can do whatever I want. And then I feel like I know JavaScript at a level where I can just use whatever framework I want, because I can pick up a framework and get familiar with it and learn it probably within a week or two. It's just because the concepts, and then because I always code in JavaScript every day, that when I see just another, I guess you can call it like another flavor of JavaScript, it's like no biggie. So like it's easy to pick it up and use it, or get familiar with it and start using it. Uh, but there are, I'm not saying it's easy. JavaScript development is difficult because the concepts or there's other concepts that are like framework specific. You know what I mean? So like Svelte, for example, and React might have similarities, but they're going to have differences too that you have to learn about and learn how they're implemented and things like that. But I hope that helps. But yeah, I can be wherever I want right now. When you're at a company, you're going to be tied down. You're going to be basically married to a tech stack as long as you're there. So like that's cool. Like, especially if that's what if it's a tech stack that you're really into. But at the same time, if you get another opportunity to learn another tech stack or a newer tech stack, and that's not gonna kill your pay, then I would book. I would leave. I would not leave properly, but I would leave for the experience, for the new experience. That way I stay relevant and I'm always learning new things. So that's how I would do it. But all right. So we had Supta. We had uh, well, I think we had M. I don't remember her name anymore, but she booked. All right, so we have oh yeah, you're still here.
Hey,
No, you're on stage. I'm sorry. Am. Okay, so you said Am, what was your name?
my name is Mira.
Mita. Okay, sorry about that. I just can't see your name. That's why. And I just meeting you guys. All right, so we have D is already been around. I think whoever it says C, it's got the gray Discord logo, and A with the green Discord logo. I think you two and you name it would be new still. So like if you guys want to speak on stage, or if you don't feel comfortable speaking on stage, you can just write inside the chat and let us know a little bit about yourself and like what brought you here and what your current level of experience is. Didi.
Hi, can you
Okay,
hear me?
I see it now. Okay, so like it's truncated on the bottom, but yeah, we can hear you. And then I see your name now. All right.
Okay, perfect. So, I'm a fellow student with Sukta at Cal State East Bay, similar to, her majoring in computer science. And I do not have a lot of experience in programming, but I'm still learning because I'm just in my second semester and I'm learning Python right now. I have already done JavaScript. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Done Java programming in my high school. So that's the only level of experience I have in programming, and I'm just expanding my horizons right now, meeting new people that are in the area of coding, trying to join some clubs and organizations that are helping young programmers develop knowledge, skills. So, yeah, that is pretty much it. And she asked questions on my behalf. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, that's cool. I learned that one too, Java. So like, cause I'm at a university too. So like I was saying, I'm getting ready to get into my senior year. So like I've learned, of course, they showed us a little bit of C consequentially as part of learning C++, but I took C++ to the advanced class, because I just like, that was like really my first programming language that I learned, and I was like really in love with it at the time. I still love it, but I just love JavaScript more now. So like I got into after I discovered JavaScript and building apps and all that stuff, and I was just like taken away. But yeah, um, but I've also learned Java, Python, and I think they're all great. Like I wouldn't say I know Python or Java at an advanced level, but definitely C++ and JavaScript. So like I don't think it's a bad thing to be, uh, I guess you could say, exposed to all those other languages, because that's part of the what the university does. I believe that's probably what all these universities have in common, is they're gonna just throw all these programming languages at us, and I guess we pick what we want to specialize in. Except did your guys' university, does it have any JavaScript in the curriculum or no?
Yeah, I think they do have JavaScript, but it's a lot later, maybe when
Oh,
I'm a
okay.
junior or when I'm entering my senior year. Yeah.
Okay, I was just curious. Uh, yeah, mine did.
No,
My
that's fine. Um,
Go ahead.
Please go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, I was gonna say at the university I attend, the JavaScript was in our curriculum, but it was very minimal. I learned like all my JavaScript, like not just practicing myself, but at the 8 month apprenticeship I did, and then also at the coding boot camp that I graduated from, and oh yeah, and I believe like those would be the two primary experiences. I learned some JavaScript at the university, but I learned more about the other programming languages at the university than JavaScript. But the coding boot camp and the 8 month apprenticeship was great. And then if I get the apprenticeship this summer, that's gonna be even more JavaScript. So I'm hoping like that's where I want to stay. That's my specialty. I want to stay JavaScript. But Python is like making its way into the into the world a little bit with web development and AI. So I don't mind knowing enough Python to be hireable either. So like that's like another thing is like there's a level that makes you hireable, and then you got to know how to distinguish that. So uh, like there's a level where you're learning, but then there's a level where you become hireable, and you can't assume that just because you're going to graduate at a university that it's a given that you're going to get hired. Maybe if you have the connections to have it like that, but not everybody has the connections just get walked in the door like that. Um, so I would say that um, really like be um, I guess when you're studying, like really get into it, and practice is important. Keep building things, and because like knowing these concepts and evolving, like going from like beginner to intermediate to advanced is important, because in these tech interviews, when they give you a technical interview, they want to see your language fluency, but they want to see you apply that programming language at a high level and be able to talk about it, and show that you understand it, and be able to show your language fluency by not relying on AI or auto completion, like being able to really write it, and know what you're writing, um, and then of course you're gonna get depending on what the programming problem is for the technical interview, or what the problem is, you're gonna get nailed on DSA, big O analysis and things like that. So like I'm just trying to emphasize like uh, just stay in it. Like you have to stay immersed. Like stay in it, stay immersed. Um, be top talent, I guess. The best way I could say it is like if you want to be that top talent, just stay immersed, and like be like really serious about your studies. Like when everybody else is, I'm not saying don't have a good time, but when everyone else is slacking off having a good time, just stay on your computer studying. I'm telling you. Because it takes a lot. Like it takes a lot. Like when I seen what level you had to be at, because I had to get myself there myself for the eight-month apprenticeship. When I seen what level you have to be at to be hireable, it was like beyond like what it was beyond what I was doing at the coding boot camp or the university. Like it was like it's like how do you get to that level? That's why as a university student, it's really important to take advantage of internships or apprenticeships wherever you can. So just so you two know too, because you're gonna see like the difference between learning in school and working on software projects with some company or some group of developers. At some point, it's gonna be a lot different, but it's gonna take you to the next level. So like I had that chance for 8 months to work with a bunch of senior engineers doing JavaScript, and like they took me to a level like I couldn't even have imagined before, that I didn't even know probably was possible before. Like it was just an experience that I had that um, I don't know, it was a great experience. Met a lot of great people. I still have that network, but I guess you get what I'm trying to say. Is like it just kicks you up a notch like that. That if people that don't get that experience, they just don't get that. You know what I mean? So it's kind of hard to explain, but yeah,
Yeah.
just like stay in it, and then like even if they say um like wherever you can apply for internships or apprenticeships, because um while you're a university student, there's going to be tech companies that turn you down because you're a university student, and they're going to say, well, how are you going to work for us full time when you're going to school full time? But I wouldn't let that dishearten you. I would just look for the apprenticeships and the internships and take advantage of them, because as a university student, you get that advantage that other people that are just coding boot camp or self-taught, they don't get those advantages, unless that there it's some rare company out there that says we're doing an internship for everybody regardless. But that's really rare. Most internships and apprenticeships out there, they're for university students. So yeah, take advantage of those for sure.
Yeah. I'm just curious about one thing. You say that you're gonna go to your senior year, and I see that you're so accomplished already. If you don't mind, can you tell me how old are you?
Yeah, me, I'm older than most people think. So I'm not like, 20 years old, fresh in college anymore. So I just turned 40, and I actually did a career switch later on in my 30s, because I used to be a junior architect, or actually an architect. I had my own architect firm in the past, and I used to specialize in custom home design, and development. And I switched into software engineering, but um, like my experience, I guess because I'm already at that stage in my life where I'm done with all the, you know what I mean? Like I don't care about, like I'm settled. I have the people I want in my life. Um, I guess I've already gotten past that stage where I've been to the college parties or any other parties. Like there's nothing really out in the world to excite me other than what I'm doing right now. So I feel excited about my company. I feel excited about school. About like I feel like if I'm in school my whole life, I don't care. Maybe one day I'll be a professor somewhere. Um, I feel like I'm excited about building software. I love learning. So like it's because my during my start in software, I've been like all day, every day. It's just been part of my life, and I don't plan on that changing. And like I feel like that's how you have to be if you're gonna be serious about it. And I know that's harder to do depending on your mindset when you're a young adult. Because when I was in my early 20s, you could tell me this till you were blue in the face, and I'm gonna still do what I want. But you have to eventually be mature enough to realize what's more important in life and shoot for that. Like, stay. I guess like basketball players say, go hard in the paint. You know what I mean? You got to be like there, like all in. You got to be ready for it. So
Yeah.
I would just say like that, just knowing what your priorities are, getting your priorities right. And I'm already at that age where just life's just different for me, and I have a different mindset, and I look at life differently. I've had a lot of experiences, and I just love what I do. So like that's why, because I've spent all day every day building things that I'm building, trying to create what the company and the network and everything that I have in my life now. I've spent just hours every day, all day every day, literally, like from when I wake up like until the end of the day, like I'm coding. And of course at the end of the day, I have my I also do PC gaming, so like I'll play like Apex Legends online with my buddies. Like we all squad up, that'll be like taking the edge off my day before I have my nightly rest and wake up and repeat it. So like basically just all day, just all about JavaScript, building software, learning.
That was that was a great explanation, and I loved every bit of it. And I just wish you all the very best for whatever you want in life. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you for the good wishes. We have anybody else? Anybody else that's new want to speak? Want to introduce yourself? It says you name it, but I guess that was Amar. If you'd like to introduce yourself. And we've got, I think that might have been it. TD Sutta. Milty, was it? All right, and we've got C. That's great. All right, so well, if you guys are okay, Uh, if you feel like you want to put anything in the chat about yourself, that's cool. You want to request to speak, go for it. So I guess for now we'll go to the next part. So I want to like share my screen, but so let me share my screen. Give me a second. Just because I know some of you should be good enough. Maybe some of you don't have access to some other platforms we are using. So I'm sharing my screen right now. Um, we were using Miro. So if I look at whoops, that's the wrong. Well, we could use that. But all right, let's just go with Miro. I have it saved in my history somewhere if it loads properly. Maybe it's Microsoft Edge, but should be able to. Whoops, should be able to log in. It's because, like I said, I got a new computer yesterday, so my old computer was just terrible. It was freezing up and crashing and everything, and they had to replace it. All right, let's see here. Uh, oh yeah, so this is where we left off. So we have this. We're using Miro as kind of to a free way, so we don't have to pay for project management software. Because depending on how many people will get interested in the project, there's only the free tiers only offer so much collaborators. So we just did Miro because Miro really has no way. Well, they kind of do have a way of knowing how many people we invite to the Miro, but they're not really I don't believe they're regulating that. So, like the way the project management software does, like Asana, for example, or Notion. If you guys heard of Notion or Asana, like they're places where you can have some type of project management and assign tasks and things like that. Um, so we're kind of using Miro as kind of like that because they do have templates for that. So like we have the AI Help project, some relevant links. Uh, this section, I have no idea what was going on with that section. Someone was working on that section. This section was the brainwriting where we had the original idea posted here about the project itself, and then we kind of like have areas where you put your name, and then like maybe you want to maybe put, I guess, questions or things about like, okay, so brainwriting, I guess I put it here because I'm gonna lose context if I don't read it, but I put this here for context because brainwriting, it says it's an alternative to traditional brainstorming for rapid idea generation, eliminates many of the pitfalls associated with typical brainstorming sessions, and I don't know how it does that unless it's trying to keep people from scope creep. Uh, but keep people on scope. Basically, scope creep is like when you have a scope and then you're slowly moving in another direction outside of that scope, and then you go into what's called the rabbit hole, where you're just like maybe venturing down into rabbit holes forever, and you went way outside the scope of where you needed to be to stay on point. So, but silent idea generation, they have all these different things. We're kind of like, we weren't using it in this way. We're using it more like in a let's put our ideas down about this project, and then let's share those ideas and maybe comment on each other's ideas. So that's kind of like how we're using it here. Um, and then we had oh yeah, this was the original documentation I generated for the project. Uh, we haven't decided on a name yet. We got this style guide going. I believe, I'm not sure who started the style guide. Was that you, Tiffany? I think it might have been Tiffany or Irina. Uh, it could have been Tiffany. All right, so then we have our app flow. So we have a flow chart. This has to be updated still, but we have our flow chart that has the app flow, and I believe we started with the examples of the wireframes here of what we wanted the app to look like. This ain't at all what the app's gonna look like. This is just like a low fidelity wireframe. So you're gonna have like different types of wireframes, and then right here we have examples that Ryan posted of low fidelity wireframes. You can do them either on your computer or you can draw them with pencil and paper. It doesn't even matter. They're low fidelity. All they are is so that way you get a basic idea of your app's layout, and you have something to have some type of direction. So when you're coding, you can at least get that basic layout, and then the app's gonna likely evolve from there. It's gonna, like, this is like low fidelity right here. These wireframes we did here, and they're not even ready yet. Um, they're still gonna be completed, but when these are complete, we'll be ready to start coding it, and you're gonna see how when you start with the low fidelity wireframe, um, what the app looks like at the end is gonna almost be like night and day. It's gonna, like, the app's gonna look so much richer. All it is like to have a point of direction, so that way not just the flow of the app, but you know, uh, at least what on each page what is expected and what functionality we need there and things like that. Uh, and then we also had this right here to assign tasks, where uh, we have team members on the development team. So I wanted to break this up into three teams, which is development, design, and marketing. And of course, we have Irina, and she's going to be the main one for design and marketing because she has a degree there, and she also does development. So um, those of you that haven't met Irina, you can reach out to her on the platform. Let me see if I can identify her for you guys. She would be, if you're looking at my screen, she would be right here, Irina, with the fox ears. So that's her. Uh, she's not at the event right now. She's pregnant, and that's my girlfriend, but she's pregnant, and she helps me at the company. She's one of the mentors at the company too, and she's really, really, really knowledgeable with marketing, graphic design, uh, doing ads and logos, all that stuff. And then she knows JavaScript development really well. She underplays it though. If you guys reach out to her, DM her, talk to her, she underplays it. She acts like she doesn't know, like she's not that great at it, but I think she's great. All right, so we got our development team. I put me at the top on that one just because it's my company, but it doesn't have to be like that. If there's somebody that shows up that has, uh, a better, uh, I mean, if I feel like they got better experience in JavaScript development than me, then hey, why not? But Lou's kind of like, I mean, 26 years of experience as a software engineer, like, no disrespect, please don't take offense. That's just where it's at. That doesn't mean nothing. But Lou's one of the ones I asked if people need help with software engineering concepts or anything while when we get to that part of building this app, that if people minded, they need help, if he didn't mind being like a, I guess you could call it uh a help, just some type of help, because I didn't want to burden anybody other than myself or Irina. But you guys can bug me anytime you want. I don't mind. Um, the design, well, the design team is, with Tiffany so far. I'm in all these teams by default, and then any design or marketing I've learned has been from Irina. So like I know a little bit, but she would be the one to ask for that. But we're not even near marketing yet. So like if anybody has an interest in the project and they want to be like on the marketing team, you can just put a sticky note with the marketing tag. You could just copy it. Like me, I just come over here and I'll hit duplicate. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. That was my bad. I'm sorry. All right. So here's my mouse. Uh, so my mouse did that. No, I think it opened a new window. Let me double check that. Did it? No. All right. So duplicate it. I'm using a gaming mouse well, and it has a bunch of buttons all over it. Sometimes you accidentally hit one of those buttons and something happens. So you could just duplicate one of those and then put your name here if you'd like. Uh, Let me see if I can. Oh yeah, I think you gotta delete it. Okay, so you're gonna see that sometimes. Um,
Can you guys hear me?
yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. This is Tiffany.
Okay. What's going on, Tiffany?
Okay. Yes, I did create the style guide. I just had a couple of questions. When we get ready to discuss the task, I have a couple of questions to ask you about the style guide.
Okay, I'm wondering what the heck happened right now. Did something happen to did something happen to the project?
No, I still see it.
Huh.
I
Maybe
still
it's
see it on
my.
my side.
All right, so maybe it's just my side. Hold on,
I
give me a
want to
second.
refresh.
Yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause I still see it on my side.
All right. I don't know what happened on my side. All right, something happened. Must have been with my mouse, but I was trying to ask, you know, I think we have to delete. There we go. But there, you can't just hit delete on your keyboard for some reason. Uh, or that
Oh,
backspace.
okay.
Yeah, you have to like. I hit one of those buttons on my keyboard and it went all crazy. So you got to use whatever options in here. But what were you saying,
Okay.
Tiffany?
No, no, I just had like a couple questions about the style sheet.
Oh,
Well,
okay. Well, for Irina, yeah, the style sheet is gonna turn out like because she's a pro at making those. So yeah, you're gonna for the style guide, ask her.
okay,
She's
because
really
I
good
created
at
the
making
correct the
those.
questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they're on here. All right.
Yes.
So like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, yeah, just DM her about her. Ask her, and then as soon as she can, she'll probably get to that, maybe help you out. But she's like really, really good at making those guides. So I've seen her make them. She made plenty of them, and they're like they come out really, really good. And then she's really good at making logos. So like we're still trying to decide on the name, I think, because we had a couple names in mind here. I think
Uh-huh.
we put links. Remember, because the name was already taken. I
Yes.
think to some extent it was taken, not maybe not exactly like the way it's written, but somebody had a name similar. So like we're trying to find something that where people didn't even have a similar name,
Okay.
and then so like we're still gonna figure out if we could generate more names and check them to see if those names are out there yet before we pick the names so we can build a logo and then come up with the color scheme for it. Because it kind of helps
Okay.
if we have a name and a logo to come up with the color scheme and all that stuff. I don't know, it just seems
Okay.
like it works more naturally that way. But yeah, I'll whenever she gets a chance. Design. Um, yeah, if you want to be on design team, you just same thing. Development team. I know a lot of people here want to be in the coding side. So like the reason for the teams is because the design team, well, the marketing team is going to do the marketing eventually if we get to that point. If we go that far. If not, then it'll just end up being just design and development. But the design team is basically they're going to build everything that we, or they're going to create everything that we need as developers to be able to use that information and bring it to life using code. So basically, that's the best way I can describe it. Um, and then we're trying to use like somewhat like agile development with like Scrum framework, but not exactly like that. Just kind of like we're trying to use like maybe um, our weekly meetings just to get up to date and keep up with each other and maybe see what we can contribute to the project. All right, so that's where we're at. And then me, my time is really, really limited. So Um, usually my only chance to work on this project is usually during these meetings today or at some point today. All right. And then the other one we had was if I'm logged in. Yeah, I don't think I logged in on this computer yet, so let me check. Yeah, I got to log in. Am I logged in? It says signed in already. All right. So, oh yeah. So, where do we have it? AI Health Project, I think it was. AI Health Project. Where's it at? All right, so we have the AI Health Project. This is the main branch, but if you switch to the dev branch, we already have a README, and it's it's going to tell you a little bit about the project, how to set it up, things like that. But then we have contributors, so I'd have to add you guys as a collaborator if any of you guys want to be a collaborator that are new. So like if any of you guys that are new, if you want me to add you as a collaborator, I can add you. So when we're ready to start coding, you can be a collaborator on the project. So that's basically, I guess, in a nutshell, um, the project. So that's what I guess someone asked what the project was about, and that was basically what I said earlier was basically what the project was about. And then the competitor we found, um, let me see. It was, oh yeah, so we have a channel here inside the Discord channel that says AI Health Project, and inside of there, me and Ryan were talking about it. But we have he's the one that found the TikTok here. You can see that's a TikTok link where somebody already made the app that we were planning on making. And I was like, no, but hey, you know what happens. It's loading right now, but what does it say? Maybe it doesn't exist anymore. Let's find out.
Can someone tell me who is buying this stuff? I mean, look at that.
Continue as guest. I don't like TikTok, that's why.
It's not me. I'm not buying it. But I want to see the ingredient label of Taki's Blue Heat. I'm going to be using the Supermarket App Pro. What this app does is it scans ingredient labels with your phone and it prompts for unsafe ingredients. This app is available on the Apple Store and on Google Play. And so here we go. So it's got artificial flavors, blue one, artificial colors, disodium guanylate, disodium inositate, artificial flavors, and then TBHQ is an artificial preservative as well. It's a synthetic artificial preservative. Before anything else, I want to point out that all concerns are for ingredients that are used long-term and in high doses, that is years of use and over the limit of the FDA's acceptable daily intake. So I've talked about a lot of these ingredients in my past TikToks, but I want to point out that I would never feed my kid these 4 categories of ingredients: artificial colors, artificial flavors, artificial sweeteners, and artificial preservatives. And this product actually has 3 of those 4 ingredients, meaning everything about this product is artificial. There's nothing real about it except for the first ingredient, which is the corn flour. But the fact that they had to add artificial flavors, artificial colors, and then artificial preservatives to this product, you're not eating anything real.
Yeah, so that's the competitor. I thought I'd play it for you guys that are new. So that's kind of like what we ran into there with our with the app. So when we first you guys will see on the YouTube channel, we had discussed building the app, I think, a while back already, maybe a month or 2 back, and we started planning it. And then one of us, which was Ryan, he found that I guess he uses TikTok, so he ran into that link about someone else building the same thing we had in mind. So we're kind of bummed out a little bit, but who cares? We could still compete or just build it for fun anyway. So like that's kind of what we're trying to do here. So my whole goal though is when I build projects, I like to try to come up with an idea that we could potentially take to market and then see if it would succeed in the market. And if not, then who cares? I mean, we learn from it and then we go to the next project. But that's kind of like that was my intention. And then so when I seen somebody that already built it, I was kind of like, damn it, I was hoping we beat anybody to the punch on that one. But hey, all right. So does anybody here? All right. Okay, thank you. Yeah, that's the link for the Miriam. Um, I don't know if I have to add your email to the Miro though. So we have the Miro board. I'm not sure if I have to add your email there. Um, if you already have access to it, but see if you could do any editing. So like if you have just the link, you could try to see if you can edit something or maybe add a section here, I don't know, somewhere. See if you can edit like something somewhere, or maybe say like text, maybe write text somewhere and see if it sticks. See if that gave you access to it. Because the last time or the last, the way we've been doing it is I've been using people's emails to share the project with them and then adding them to the project that way. With the GitHub, if you're interested in the project for the GitHub, when we do start coding it out, because right now all we have in here are the starter files that I created. So it's all it is like if you were to set up the project and yeah, if you were to set up the project and run the starter files. There's not much going on there. It's just the uh, the web bundler with the dev server and all that other stuff. Just the HTML, SCSS, JavaScript, Bootstrap 5 because we're using Bootstrap 5, but we're using SCSS instead of CSS. But consequently, it's going to compile back into CSS anyway. That's what the bundler does. It just turns it all back into vanilla code anyway. So but we're using SCSS, which is I think better. I think it's a better than CSS, and it's not too much different if you're a beginner. It's not so much different where it's going to be so difficult to learn. It feels like another popular one was that one? Trying to remember what it was called. So there was It's like a lot of inline CSS. I'm sorry, my mind. Sometimes my mind just like goes blank from the concussion symptoms, and I kind of drew it blank. I'm trying to think what it was. But anyway, Bootstrap 5 is a CSS framework, and this other one, I'm trying to remember what it was. Let's see. Let's look up some Tailwind CSS. That's it. So that's the other one I was gonna tell you guys. So there are probably others, but Tailwind. So like you're gonna hear about maybe other popular ones, but Tailwind is another popular one. But we were gonna use Tailwind on this project, but we decided not to because if you want to use their components, their CSS components, and then or other things, you have to start paying. So I wanted to use components in the project, but with Bootstrap. So like I think they have Bootstrap links somewhere here. With Bootstrap, it's free. Come on, that's not my intention. There we go. Uh, so Bootstrap, it's free, and that's why we went with it. And Bootstrap is a good one to learn, especially if you're just learning. But Bootstrap has a bunch of components already that are built into it right here. And it's not as easy as it sounds to learn Bootstrap. It's a little bit Bootstrap, like any other CSS or JavaScript framework, gets a little finicky. So like you just have to start using it and you'll get familiar with it. But um, basically you got to know you got to be really familiar with their layout and how it works. How they're using Flexbox and Grid, CSS Flexbox and Grid. They're gonna have to. All it is basically a way to use CSS and supposedly Bootstrap. Well, they do make it a little bit more so that way it helps you make your app. I would say not just mobile friendly, but responsive for like all viewport sizes. So you can target that. You can target the viewport sizes, but you still have to add. What I found with Bootstrap is it's not perfect, and you get to a point where you still have to add your media queries to be able to really get more accurate responsiveness with your web app. But it's still a good one to learn. Bootstrap's cool. I like Bootstrap. Tailwind's a good one. That's another popular one. Um, but like I just wanted to throw that out there. Uh, but JavaScript frameworks, that's different. We're not using a JavaScript framework in this project. It's just going to be HTML, CSS, or HTML, SCSS, JavaScript. And if you guys don't know SCSS, it's not hard. It's not, well, it's hard if you've never learned it before, of course, but like anything, you start learning it, and especially if you love learning it, it's going to be easy. For me, HTML and CSS is just very easy. It's the programming language that's the hard part. But basically, when we go to learn Sass here, you're going to see that they just write their variables different. So like, if we wanted to write variables in, well, this is what. So don't pay attention to this because this ain't gonna show us how you write variables in CSS. But in CSS, instead of like a money sign, you have to do like a double dash, like kind of like this one, and then you have to call it using the variable, like some kind of CSS variable function or method. And with Sass, you don't have to do that. You just create it, and then you can use it the same way anywhere you want. So their syntax is a little bit different with variables, and they use nesting. So like you use a lot of nesting to target your elements or tags or elements that you want to uh, style during the development process. Whereas CSS, you'd have to target your nav bar and then an unordered list, and then your nav bar, and then your list item, and then your nav bar, then your anchor link. Like for every little thing like that with regular CSS, it's a pain. But with SAS or with CSS, it's nested. So you just target your nav bar, and you target everything that has to do with that nav bar individually, and you could style it individually. But it's got to be nested inside. And then they have other more advanced syntax like modules and mixins that deal with inheritance and operators, but you don't really have to get that crazy into it yet if you're beginning, as long as you understand um, the basic variables and nesting and writing CSS in general. So if you've already been exposed to CSS, this is like a cleaner way of writing CSS. It makes it a little bit cleaner, and it makes your variables easier to write. Um, so that's basically what we're using: HTML, SCSS, Java, vanilla JavaScript, all of it vanilla basically. I mean, SCSS I consider vanilla too, even though technically it's not. And then we're using Bootstrap 5 because Bootstrap 5 is a CSS framework. So like we're trying to use Bootstrap for as much of our CSS as possible. So like if there's a component we need to create and it's available in Bootstrap to some extent, we want to use it. Um, the only way we're going to use SCSS is when we have to write custom CSS code to do like maybe the media queries or to write a custom component or things like that. You never know. We'll get them when we get there. We'll see how it goes. But we're going to eventually have to write some SCSS. There's no getting around it. But Bootstrap, they I guess they use SCSS. They have a SCSS library that they rely heavily on. So it's good to use SCSS inside of a Bootstrap project just to begin with. We could have made it with Tailwind, but I thought it was uh, just because the pricing, depending on how we wanted to use Tailwind with the components, it was too expensive. I didn't want to be paying for that. All right, so we have I think that's basically it on getting you guys familiar with where we're at on the project. It was just trying to figure out, I guess, what team you want to be in if you want to get involved with the project, or if any of you guys have like any questions about it. So like that's basically what we're waiting for is just to finish up I think actually I could probably do that sometime today. I could try to finish the flow. I think the flow needed to be updated somehow, if I remember correctly. I think it had to do with, what was that? Was it here? Zalola, I think. That's if we integrate these other things. So if we suggest similar products without these dangerous ingredients. So like if, for example, if someone takes a picture and they find dangerous ingredients, maybe we can suggest a similar product that does not have the dangerous ingredients. And then we ran into the issue of where are we getting that data from? And so then we'd have to figure out how we're going to collect that data from our users or some API somewhere, or if we're going to have to build our own data, collect that data ourselves. It is pretty cool, like at an MVP stage, if we can have the users collect that data from us, but not all users are going to do that. Most users are what most developers call lazy, like, but not like in a bad way, but like in a way like where they don't want to do those extra steps. They just want to use the app. They don't want to they don't want to feel like they have to do any more work than just using the app. So like we might have to come up with something for that. Um, and then we're talking about using barcodes, I believe. Oh yeah, the UPCs to gather the product data. Yeah, the UPC code, I believe that's what we're trying to use. So just looking at that right now, let's look. depending on how we're going to handle that, we still had to do research, I think, on the UPC codes to see what data is stored on those food items. But that's not going to change this flow too much because either way, we still have this whole flow here that's going to stay the same. Like the user navs the page, the home page, presenting with tools and or the tools and the instructions to use the app. They select either the image tool or the text tool. If they select text, they're just gonna shoot over to the AI to process the text. Otherwise, if they use an image, then they gotta upload the image somehow. We're gonna make it so they have to either we're gonna have to have access to the camera or something. We gotta figure that out when the time comes. But either way, we have to have access to that image that they take a picture of and have it uploaded for the AI to process it. Um, Besides that, they're gonna be in a loop. If they're uploading blurry or poor images, they're gonna have to upload a nice clear image, like any other app, just that way we can parse it correctly, and then it's gonna process that input no matter what it is, whether it's coming from an image or a text, and then they're supposed to get a summary. Um, and we had this info here. I mean, we could expand on that if we need to. Like, if we wanted to create a fourth to suggest, like, user. Let me go. Oh, one way off there. All right. Yeah. Oh, yeah, and that's the other one, the compare feature that Lola thought of. That's a good one too, the compare, where they can upload like maybe two photos of the same product or the similar products, and then it can compare the two. So like that's another one. People want to take pictures that way, but like so I'm not sure if you know everybody wanted to really, really, really implement as far as the features go, because if we're going to go with any of these features, we just have to add them into the flow, and that's that. And then we can start working on the wireframes. But the wireframes have to be finished before we can just start coding it. All right, so yeah, so it's not much different. I mean, depending, well, it's gonna change here just a little bit at the end if we're gonna like compare, if we're gonna allow them to compare. Um, yeah, so then we have to think about how we're gonna have them compare. I guess you could say what that could look like. Like, are they gonna just take an image and then take another image, like, you know what I mean? And then we give them the option to compare, or it's just gonna just compare without giving them the option. I mean, we have to have that feature kind of built in, I believe, because then if they take a picture of two different products and it's comparing two different products, I mean, we could do that too. But I think the whole point of having that compare was to compare two similar products. I believe that was the yeah, that was the point there. So that's where we're at. We just got to keep on developing the flow and the wireframes. Get the name. So if anybody can think of like a name for the app, uh, and you want to like put it in the, maybe put it in the documentation here. You can add it like a sticky note or something. Maybe just put a sticky note so with your name on it, so we know without a name, and then we can check that name to see if somebody's using some variation of it. If not, they're not using the name exactly, because we need to pick a name so that way we can get onto the theme and branding. So yeah, for everybody that's joined the project, that's where we left off. We had Tailwind. I'm okay with SCSS Bootstrap in case you need more hands with design tasks. I contribute forward the style guides and Mary. All right, so that's the load up. Yeah, Tailwind CSS. Yeah, don't worry about it. We're not going to do it in this project. But I was just, you see people use Tailwind a lot in React or Next.js projects. Uh, but Tailwind is a popular one. It's a lot of inline CSS, and you write it similar to Bootstrap, where you're using except in Bootstrap you're using classes. Bootstrap, when you're in your HTML, you're creating classes um, on your tags or elements, or on your component, depending on how big your component is, and you're giving it all these Bootstrap classes to style it, and um, it's similar to writing inline CSS if anybody's ever written inline CSS, and that's how Tailwind is designed. Tailwind is like inline CSS, but the syntax is extremely short. So like they just have abbreviations so that way when you're writing inline CSS, it's a lot shorter. But Tailwind is good because I think the bundler we have already on the project is going to do the same thing, where it's going to weed out duplicates and it's going to do tree shaking, and it's going to get all that stuff out of the code and make it real optimized. But like Tailwind had a lot of that built into it, um, where it fully optimizes the CSS in your project for production. So, and that's the point, is like you want all your code fully optimized for production. You want your images optimized. So that's why we're using the web bundler. And the web bundler we chose was Parcel. So I don't know if any of you guys have used the web bundler before, but Parcel is our bundler that we're using, and it has a development server, and it's got right now we have it set up for development, and then eventually we'll set it up for production. That's when we're ready to set it up for production. But it does minification and tree shaking and all kinds of stuff that we're gonna want it to do, image optimization. Uh, yeah, it's gonna do a lot of good stuff for us that we don't have to do ourselves. So like for example, if we didn't have a tool like Parcel, we'd have to do all of this ourselves manually to our app before we sent it out to production. Nowadays, because we got these you know newer software coming out to help us build more software, like they're a lot better. Like for example, Webpack was a popular one, but you'll notice Webpack is still good, but you have to do a lot of configuring to make Webpack work the way you need it to. So it's not as easy to use as something like Parcel or Vite. Vite's another one, but Vite you want to use if you're either building an app natively in JavaScript or you're using a framework. And when I mean natively in JavaScript, I mean building your components and styling and doing all your structure, everything like in just JavaScript. Everything's just JavaScript. You're not writing any HTML or CSS except for however you have to write that to use it natively in JavaScript, which is through DOM manipulation and things like that. There are a lot more like difficult concepts. You would have to see like an example of that, I guess, if you've never seen it before. But like V is for like straight up JavaScript apps. So if you're going to build natively in JavaScript or a JavaScript framework, you want to use V. But we're using Parcel. Parcel was more, I can make Vite work with the Bootstrap project, but it didn't work too great. Like Vite is built for frameworks in JavaScript and native JavaScript. It's just better to use. It's better to like know what you have to use, and then knowing what your options are, and then knowing what the best tool for that job is. And I felt like Parcel was the best tool for Bootstrap, so we didn't have to use Webpack. Webpack's a nightmare. I've used Webpack before, and when it first came out, that was like the way you did things, I guess. And so when I first started using it, or like maybe those years ago, it seemed pretty cool. It was a lot of setup, but nowadays we don't even have to do all that setup. So why waste hours doing all that setup when you don't have to, when there's better options? And then V and Parcel are actually, as far as I could tell, they do a lot of work for you, and they're just as capable, if not better, than Webpack. All right, so we have Tiffany, right, and Yosef. So Yosef, you've been quiet. Um, oh yeah, we still haven't fleshed that part out. So we haven't figured out yet, Yosef, if we're gonna do the AI logic in Python or JavaScript yet. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna try to get this done ASAP. So that way, I think Irina needed it to help you guys here. Uh, and then so we can get the rest of that done. Yeah, let's do it. So what do you think, Zalola? Marina's not here, but I don't know. I'm trying to think of if we're gonna adjust the app flow to have one of these, to do something that you suggested. Then we need to like really, really decide if we're gonna go with that option. So we're gonna need the data if we suggest a similar item. So I think the compare feature maybe. So it depends on, I guess, what we're trying to have compared. And then we have to have, I guess we could say once they load up the initial image. So this flow is good for the initial image. Once they upload the initial image, we can present them with a branch where they're able to compare. Maybe I can kind of put it. So I think at this point, because once the app processes the initial image, it's going to present them with something. And I think during this initial presentation is when they have to be presented with whether they want to compare uh, the current product with another similar product. They can either get their summary from that initial picture, or uh, they can compare, and then we can reroute them somehow to upload another image, and then have some kind of logic so that the AI can pick up that or parse the text off that picture, if it's picture or text. Um, so yeah, they would have to be redirected. So let me see if I can just move. No, it's not going to let me move. There it is. Right there. Yeah, because we have to have a way for them to be redirected. I thought we had a decision here. There was something with. I'm trying to find it, so forgive me. I'm not the best with this app. So what was it? Shapes? I believe it was. And then there was one for decisions, and I don't remember what it was. Let me see. Where did we get those symbols? Hold on. I believe it was this one. So we're just gonna use it because I can't find out where it was. So we'll just grab that one. And then we're gonna have to put it somewhere here. Just pick that thing off. Okay, so I definitely suck at using this app. Give me a second. I'm just deleting everything. All right, give me a second. Enter shape. Oh, that's what it was. All right, the decision, but it didn't enter exactly what we wanted to. Maybe I have to select the right branch. So let's go back. I think it was this one. So we can see here, enter shape at some point. Let me get here. Let's delete that. All right. So yeah, the user has to make some kind of decision here. So we're gonna say they are presented with the summary. Exploratory questions is an option, and and uh, option to compare products. So depending on their decision here, I don't know if I can make that any bigger. It's not letting me. That's fine. But if you click on it, it's going to give you the arrow. I think that's what it means here. Let me see. Oh, there we go. We can give them the decision to we give them the decision to move forward with their single product. I guess get to see the results. I don't know how to call this right here because I'm trying to make it make sense for everybody. See results uh, for their initial image or their first image for product or compare. I'm sorry. Come on. So yeah, we're gonna have to probably make this one a little bigger too. So I guess if they just want to see the results, then we know they have to go here. Really, we didn't need. I don't think it's gonna let me cut that. Whatever, we'll leave it. User views list of suggested questions. User views food health list. There's probably more that they're gonna view here at some point, so we gotta kind of flesh that out. But we need to like redirect them, or we need to have so they have to be redirected back to if they're using an image to go through that process again, or if they're using just text input, well then they would have to. So see, the thing I'm thinking is the text input now. Now, if we're gonna go with the compare feature, that the text input kind of doesn't quite. I mean, because that's a lot of information for them to type in for a product. and it feels like the text input is going to be too much of a headache for the lazy users that don't want to be typing in that much info. So like if they're doing text input, what are they comparing? Are they going to type in the whole list of the ingredients off the product and then do that again for a comparable product? You see what I mean? So like there's like now that I'm looking at the flow, there's like it feels like if we're especially if we're gonna have a feature like comparing, like it only makes sense to do it through the image, you know, like to get the image, parse the text from the image and do it that way, and so the user doesn't have to type in any text. I think one good way we could separate this too is like if we're gonna have text input, as if they want to really isolate just one ingredient that they're maybe we have it more like isolated, like where it's like I've never seen this ingredient before. What kind of ingredient is this? And we can like isolate that. Um, so like that's what I'm thinking about it because I kind of feel like um, it doesn't make no sense to have the user compare. I mean, maybe if they're comparing, well, there's not really a real way to compare a text input on an ingredient because it's going to be the same ingredient no matter what. Um, and then people know, you know, like the competitors pointed out, when it's artificial, like most people know right away artificial is bad. But what about other ones? Uh, so like I don't know if you guys are with me on that, if any of you guys agree or disagree, but um, I feel like the text kind of has hardly any place in this app unless it's gonna be to maybe explore what an ingredient is. Let me see. 10 minutes vary depending on the current state of the app.
What about confirming
In this case,
after they take an image, confirming the result?
Um, yeah. So like while I was trying to finish that wire or the flow, so that way. Oh yeah, Tiffany was asking if because she wanted to do the style guide, but she needed your help,
Yeah.
and then we got to decide on a name. And then I think the other person that wanted to work with you on that was Zalola. Yeah,
Okay.
Zalola. She put somewhere. I think she put it over here for the. Well, I don't think she's added herself to the design yet, but she said she wanted to contribute there, so we'll add her. Uh, Hopefully I spell your name right. Give me a second. I think I did. I make sure. All right. So I added you there, Zalola, just in case, because you said, I believe that's what you said, didn't you? Uh, oh yeah, the design task. All right. Just so that way, it'll be so far you, Tiffany, and Irina mainly. I'm kind of like gonna be. I'm on there, but I'm like more like I don't know, hiding in the background somewhere. You guys are on the stage. I'm like one of the stage props, I guess. All right, so uh, but I can still help out there to some extent. I know a little bit, but Irina's like the master there. All right, so we got anybody else have questions or want to join the project or want to join one of these teams or anything? If you guys want to, I'll need to either you guys can try to access it through the link. If you guys don't have full access to the link, then you can send me your email and then I can add you that way. And then if you want to be on the development team at some point when we start developing, I'm gonna need your GitHub username so that way I can add you as a collaborator on for the GitHub repo. Let me see, Kelsey Terry. I think this person may be new. So yeah, if you want to um, introduce yourself, go for it. You can speak on stage or just write in the chat just a little bit about yourself, what brought you here, what your current level of experience is. It's up to you. Someone is typing. Give me a second. I'm waiting for them to type. All right. So like if you want to send me your email, you can send it however you want. You can send it on the DM if you want, or you can send it um, right here in the chat. It's up to you. And then I'll add. I can add you. I can add you to the mural that way. Um, I thought I added you already. Let me see, because I know you're not new, Andretta. I've seen you before. But I thought you were added already. Let me check. Well, we're about to find out because I'm gonna add you right now. Yeah, I did add you before. Cause well, let's see. Maybe it timed out. Maybe the invitation timed out. I thought I've added you before, but maybe not. Hmm. Let's get that without the period at the end. Oops. Yeah, it should take AOL, an AOL email. I mean, I'm pretty sure it should take it. Let's see. So you guys can let me know if that came through okay. Yeah, we did that already. Oh yeah, that was Runza. All right. So Runza's not here, I don't believe. But yeah, we're gonna have to. All right, so that's where we're at. Oh yeah, so we're saying yeah, like we've seen in the chat already. All right, yeah, no problem. Where is it at? Oh, yeah, it's because I'm using this computer. No, I should still have my favorite emojis. What the heck? Whatever. It doesn't. There we go. All right, so it should have worked. Yeah, I'm thinking it should have worked. I don't see um why it wouldn't take AOL. I mean, it's still a valid email. I know AOL's like I remember when AOL was popular. That was like a while back. Yeah. Uh, that was when they still had Internet Explorer. I was using the internet back then too. So the internet was slow as all. Like it was slow, really slow. So if you guys think the internet's slow these days, you guys ain't experiencing nothing. Like the internet back then, man, it was loud and noisy. The modem on in your computer would make all kinds of crazy noise, and it would take forever just for you to see one page. And everybody would wait just to see that one page. Like, yeah, how exciting it was. And it's like it was so terrible compared to nowadays. It's so fast. Like back then, people would wait minutes for their page to load, and now we're spoiled. If we don't get the page doesn't load within a couple seconds, we're gone. Oh man, yeah, yeah. You had me thinking about AOL, the old times when in the '90s when the internet was out, like how people thought that was great, and then in hindsight it was terrible. All right, where are we going? Oh yeah, back to the flow. We wanted to add a shape here, didn't we? Oh yeah, yeah, because I was trying to differentiate. Uh, and I don't know if we should be at this point really app process user inputs, text or image, but if we're gonna have like a differentiation here, then I gotta redo the flow a little bit because um, it depends how you guys feel. If you want to separate, I guess the I guess the context or like the purpose of the text. So like if we're gonna have text input, because I feel like it's too much to ask a user to input all that text. Um, I don't think that's like a good way to do it. I think it would be more legit for the text input if we just ask a user to, if they have maybe a question about one ingredient, like maybe something they've never seen before, or maybe they're just not aware of it, and I want to have information on this one ingredient. Maybe that's what we need to do. And then for the image, that's like if if the, because I don't really see like, I kind of see like both, because like the text feels like it's irrelevant, because like we can pretty much have them take an image and just process everything through the image. I don't really see the purpose for text, but I remember initially we came up with text input because just in case anybody wanted to type it in, but I feel like that's asking too much. I think that's a little bit, that's kind of like a developer might do that because we're used to using Chat GPT maybe, or other natural language processing AI like that, because there's so many out there now. You got Gemini and a whole bunch of them. There's a bunch of them, and then Copilot. Like there's a bunch of them. So uh, I kind of feel like asking non-tech people if they want to type in anything. It's better to just have. Most people, they just want to click and have it done. They just want to take a picture and that's it. So that's why I feel like the competitor was kind of on point there with the pictures, because you can tell they don't have any text input. And initially, I was thinking the text input might give us a little bit of a difference, but um, I think we might have to differentiate another way, because I don't see any point in having text input unless somebody else has an idea for text input. So Lewis typing some maybe. Joseph seem to have ideas a lot. What's up? How come you ain't typing? They censored you, Joseph? That is just crazy. There's no way. That is nuts. Let's see, maybe three options on one page. Analyze, take a photo of product, compare, take two products. Search and ingredient, see, basically, text and Google. Yeah, that could be a good idea. Uh, I'm not sure what you're trying to say at that last bit, but your typing skills are terrible, I guess. Uh, well, I could tell you, I guess in the mornings for me, because I'm not like I'm more active at nights than the mornings. So for me, like in the mornings, I just do everything slower. But in the at nights, especially at nights, I'm like more active. My brain is more active in the like towards the evening and at nights than it is. Like in the mornings, it's pretty active, but I don't know. I seem like I'm in slow motion when I'm in the morning. Let me see. All right, all right. I hear you. I was just hoping maybe you had something to say about that text input, or anybody else, and if anybody else wants to volunteer that. I think Lou took off. Yeah, I think Lou's waiting for us. So Lou, I think he's waiting for us to start coding. That's why. And Ryan, I haven't heard anything from Ryan yet, so I'm gonna have to reach out to him here. So I guess back to what we were doing. I think that's a good idea. So I'm gonna copy this right here so we don't lose it, and I'm gonna take it over to the mirror and put it on a sticky note. So that way I don't lose that. It's gotta be blue. I don't know why. Uh, maybe we can put this somewhere. Oh, yeah, that's okay. There we go. So I like to kind of label stuff. just so that we know what everybody's contributing, what everybody's doing. So yeah, I think this would be, let me see. I mean, because when we originally stated user nav's homepage, I mean, we're talking about a splash screen, and then they're just going to be presented with the tools and instructions from the splash screen. It's just going to flow right in. We just kind of threw this in here, but I mean, because we're expecting something different with the homepage, but I guess this makes more sense if we're just not going from a splash screen straight to tools and instructions. Mhm. But yeah, I think that having the logic in the programming so that way we can constrict or restrict the user to either take one photo or two photos would be good. Because we don't want nobody going crazy just taking too many photos. Because every time the AI generates that feedback for them, it's costing money. So uh, yeah, that sounds good. So rethinking the flow. So I guess we can say we need to. So we'd have to redo these here, definitely. Whoops, sorry. I'm not the best at using this thing. Look, I'm just got arrows flying everywhere. All right, give me a second. Let me try to see if I could just copy that one and then manipulate it somehow. We don't have nothing yet, but sure is working this time, isn't it? So what was it saying? We're saying that maybe we presented the user with uh, single image upload tool, then we can have like this select like maybe the comparison, and then user selects the text tool, which we can maybe like that because of that note. Because you put this note here or in the chat, then now the app flow is going to change just a little bit. So for the single, we still want to go through all this here. Maybe, yeah. But the whole problem is we got to get familiar with how the images are, how the image tool is going to work. So because we're going to have some logic at some point, so that way when the user uploads one image, it goes through just one time. But when they load up a second image, it's got to prompt them to upload the second image after the first one's been checked. So I guess at some point, I'm trying to think of where we could put that. Maybe is the image invalid? If it is invalid, yeah, leave them. Maybe yeah, so let's put that logic somewhere around here, I guess. Whoops. Dang it. That always does that to me. That's alright. Alright, so where can we put that at? So I'm trying to decide where the heck we could put the. Oh wait, we got more messages. Sorry, I'm not paying attention here. All right, so should we also include food suggestions for certain things, like for example, before starting exercise, I can suggest what treats will be along with the food. Maybe at some point. I think this one's like just like because we gotta stay within some kind of scope because then we're gonna have it evolve into other things and then we're gonna get to a point where we never finish the project. Like I don't know. Like I think we should have like one good solid starting point and then let it evolve if we're gonna evolve it after that because um then it's gonna that's kind of like I don't know. Then we go into what the dangers of scope creep. Maybe at some point, yeah, in the future. Uh, but I'm trying to decide on having like what features are we gonna have initially and just leave it like that, and then test it just for testing. And then if if it tests out good, people like our app, and then we feel like maybe we can spend more time to build on it. If we can monetize it, then go that direction. But um, because I think if we get too far, like into too many features, then we're building this mega app. You know, what I mean, we're gonna get to a point where we're building a big this big app. We don't even know, and then it's got, I guess, two different types of scope in it. Yeah, so we're trying to keep it just something simple, and then because like even though like the idea of it so far is pretty simple, uh, the logic of it's still going to be, especially for beginners, it's going to be pretty complex. But like it's not going to be too bad depending on how much experience you have. Um, and I don't think this project should turn into a bunch of headaches right away. Like we should be able to like have a solid idea in place and be able to move forward with that idea. And then, because I don't know if you're familiar with scope creep, but that's what I was talking about earlier. It's when you can put it in, you can apply the concept in many contexts, but it's like basically in software engineering, it's when you go down those rabbit holes and you got to know, you have to have clearly defined lines and just stick to them. Otherwise, you end up in all kinds of trouble that you didn't intend to end up in. So it's better to have like our clearly defined lines and stick to them and then let the project evolve after the fact if it has any potential for monetization. That's how I would do it. Uh, all right, so we're already at 12:01, so we're past time. I hope you guys enjoyed the day. I'll go ahead and upload this video to YouTube, but like there is some things I wanted to do. I want to finish that app flow, and then Irina knows now that you guys want to do what were we talking about there? The design, yes, the design to finish the design, but we got to get this app flow finished, and then so that way you guys. Oh yeah, then we got to get a name, select a name. So we need to really select a name and get this app flow finished, so that way on the design side things can get going. So that's kind of that's kind of the curtain where we're leaving off for the day. I'll try to see if I can have time to get anything else done. You'll know by next week if you guys join us back. Um, but I hope to see you guys again. Yeah, thank you guys for coming. Hope you guys all have blessed week, whatever you guys are doing.
Thank you, Fernando. Thank you. I'll reach out to Irina sometime this week.
Okay.
Okay.